Hey!
Hey!
And you just burped on. You just burped.
No, I didn't.
You did. Everyone, Kendall burped.
No, I didn't. You are seeing things. What is your hair doing? Your hair's attacking your eye.
Yeah. He's like a fan right like on the side. Yeah, I fixed my hair.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everyone. The best TV, pop culture TV show right now, podcast going on right now.
Eat your heart out.
Heart out. That's not our catchphrase. We literally just said that right now. Hosted by Kendall Varner and
Hitesh.
And we're gonna break it down. What we've seen this week, what's going on, what's not going on. Hitesh, help me out here. Have you seen anything good lately?
Yeah, I watched Cowboy Bebop. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Well, what a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Stop copying me.
Cowboy Bebop.
A Netflix original.
A Netflix original just dropped earlier last week.
Yep, based on the anime that was
based
made in the late 90s.
Yeah, infamous.
Very
popular anime from its time.
Yeah.
And we both watched the live action adaptation produced by Netflix.
I recently watched the anime version like a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I still yet to finish. I only seen like a couple of the anime episodes, but that's a good news for me because I get to watch it fresh.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go straight into the show. It's got the main Spike Spiegel is played by John Cho. And we got Jet Black is played by Mustafa Shakur. And who is it that plays
Danielle
Faye Valentine?
Daniela Ten something.
Oh, that's
Jamie, look that up.
Yeah, Jamie, look it up, please. We're so bad. We should have
this on hand.
Yeah.
But
I want to also mention that the show was developed by Christopher Yost, who I'm a big fan of. Christopher Yost has developed other TV shows that you may or may not be familiar with. Christopher Yost. I used to read his I know him from. He used to write a lot of comic books, a lot of Marvel comic books back in the day, and he helped develop the animated series of I think it's Avengers, the Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh, okay.
The animated he had a hand in that as well, and he helped develop that for animation. And to be honest, it's one of the best adaptations of the event ever put to the small screen. Ever brought to the small screen, I would say. It's so good. It has its hand in the Christopher Yost is just really good at developing these kind of stories.
I think he's also done he wrote on Star Wars Rebels.
Yes, Star Wars Rebels. Did he also
He was a consultant on The Mandalorian. He was a writer on Thor and.
Yes, that's right.
Both Thor. He was a writer on Thor: Dark World and Thor: Ragnarok.
And what was the name of the actress?
Danielle Pineda. I'm pretty sure I just butchered that.
Oh, that's right. Pineda. But yeah, so as soon as I saw his name on the opening credits, the amazing opening credits, I was just like, oh, it's Christopher Yost again. I was like, because he's like, it's so cool that he's like jumped around that much. Like he's like, he used to write graphic novels and now he's producing television and like developing scripts for the TV screen. So I'm just like, he has my like he's he's very good at being faithful while also telling a different story, because that's usually where the issue comes from when you're developing one piece of material into another medium. So yeah, what did you think? Tell me what you thought of this. Would you call it first season?
Yeah, first I was watching like an interview, like with like the cast and stuff, and they kept referring to season 1 and like saying in the next season. But okay, I don't want to jump the gun, so I'll just say what I like about it. So
Spoilers?
Spoiler alert, you should know this by now.
Spoilers all the time. Spoiler house. Take it away.
We're like a car with all the spoilers we have. I liked how it was set. So it was filmed in Auckland. So it was nice to see all these familiar settings.
Where do we live? Yes.
In Auckland. Yeah, if we have any international viewers, we're from New Zealand and we live in Auckland City.
Yeah.
So a lot of scenes were filmed in Auckland, and there were a lot of familiar landmarks. That were like, oh, I know where that is. Oh, I walked down that laneway.
After watching a movie, we would go down to the waterfront and just talk about that movie we just seen. Yeah. And then it's in the show where the very last scene of the episode of season where they like the way they park their ships on the water dock. That's literally where we used to talk about, and now we're doing a podcast about it.
Yeah,
it's going full. Yeah.
So like there was a scene like outside Spark Arena. Anyway, I don't know if they did this, but it looked like they filmed inside the new mall downtown, where like the food court, like at the very back of the food court, there's like a bar, and the bar kind of looks like the bar where Faye performs. I could be wrong. If anyone has any intel, let me know, because I was really like into seeing all these different landmarks that I know that I've been to or are familiar with. So it was really cool to see that. It was also cool to see a lot of Māori and Pacific Island faces on the show, because a lot of the extras are from New Zealand.
Yep.
So it was really nice to see like a brown face or like a familiar looking face.
Well, a lot of like it's like it just helped cement that kind of like in the future the race is going to be very mixed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brown faces and stuff like that. It's just like a lot of Asian, like mixed Asian faces, mixed like everyone is just very mixed. And it's just like, oh yeah, helps with the world building.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. It was also nice to hear like sometimes you'd hear like a Kiwi accent, or sometimes you'd hear like sometimes, and this is no bad mouthing on anything, but sometimes you hear like a kind of a bad American accent. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Overall, it took me a while to really enjoy the show. I don't think I really enjoyed it till episode 8. And
yeah.
It's like a real slow burning show. And it took a long time to really get into. It didn't have a lot of the themes that the anime had. The anime touched on a lot about religion, sexual orientation, sexual preferences, all of that. I thought the show was going to really touch a little bit on it, but it didn't really. It was more about the story with Spike and Vicious and Faye. This love triangle.
Are you right there? You're gonna.
Yeah. I just said it. But that's all it really was. It's the story mainly is just these 3 characters, Faye, Spike, Faye, Spike, and yeah. And they travel to different worlds and they're bounty hunters.
Yes, space bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Very much like the Mandalorian. So it's like some Mandalorian.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
Yeah. Bounty hunting is a what is that? The Werner Herzog line? It's a very dangerous profession. Hunting is a very dangerous profession. Sorry, just doing.
I can't remember what he said.
Yeah, but he was in all the trailers. What did I think of it? Just blanking out. I liked it.
Yeah.
I dug it. Like adaptations are always going to be
Tricky,
far or close apart from its actual, and they're very difficult beasts to tame, because there's always going to be purists and like traditionalists and like, we want it just like the book. But that's bad, because if you just want the book, why don't you just read? Yeah. And when you just do it one for one, like copy and paste, when you copy and paste, it just, you're wasting your time, because you're just watching what was in the book. And
I think with what you're saying, like a really good example of copy and pasting is the new Lion King adaptation, the live action.
I would even say that I would say more would be the Harry Potter series, because one of the big issues with adaptations is the idea that everyone, because art is it objective or subjective? Objective.
It can be both.
Yeah, but the idea that when you read a piece of material, you have the grand ability to interpret it at your own pace with your own imagination, and then you get to share that feeling with everyone. However, when it's given to a studio, it's
their interpretation.
It's their interpretation, where they were like, well, their interpretation of gaining a profit, but it's given to someone who has a vision, and that's the director, and that person has a singular, like has a different vision, because the guy who adapted it to the screenplay changed his vision of the book has been condensed into a screenplay. So we get the interpretation of the screenwriter, and then it's reinterpreted again by the director, who's reinterpreting the screenplay to the screen, and then and then we get the third interpretation, which is you, the audience, and it's not going to be one-to-one what you saw in your head. Maybe his cloak was like red, maybe maybe in your head it was red, but in the film it's like green and yellow. You just and people take it to heart, because it's not what they saw in their head or their mind or how they felt it.
Also, it's also your attachment to the original source material. Like if you're reading Harry Potter at a time when you were like, for example, I was 8 or 9 when I was reading Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I remember like reading with my dad, like a bedtime kind of story, or like reading it by myself. So that was formative for me. So I have a different attachment to Harry Potter. I actually don't like Harry Potter. Like, I'm not a fan.
Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan either, but I don't hate it.
I understand people that like it, and I'm not gonna.
However, every time I see the movie, I'm like, oh wow, I'm very impressed with what it did and was able to pull off. We're getting sidetracked again. But
we never do that.
What I'm getting at is adaptations are so hard to do.
Yeah.
And especially when they already have their fan bases already connected to it. And for me, who's like, I've only seen, and I'm gonna be very honest with it, I haven't seen the whole animated series. But from what I've seen as on its own, I thought it was pretty well done for what it was able to achieve.
I like the story. I didn't like. I would have liked if they played a lot more of the original things in the anime, but I didn't hate it. Like, I thought it was still a good adaptation. And like you said, like, it's really hard to do an adaptation. I can't think of a lot of really like fantastic adaptations that are like.
Well, some of the best, some of the
like,
best
if not better than the
have
original
moved away. Yeah, exactly. they moved away. Like the best, I've seen that the best adaptations are the ones that moved away from the books and just took the good idea. I would say like The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Like they took bits and pieces, but it wasn't one for one the book, or like maybe even oh geez, I had one before.
I actually like. I like. This may be controversial. I actually enjoyed the Civil War movie over the Civil War comic. Like,
the book is so dark, man. It's Civil War. The film is a lot more digestible and understandable. Yeah. Whereas the book is so dark and just like very grim.
And like the good thing about what I like about the movie is I saw both sides. I saw pros and cons on both sides, and I think it's really important to show, especially for that. Yeah, especially for that like debate. Like, okay, I understand why there'd be some heroes that don't want to put their names out there, but I can understand why there will be some heroes that would want to put their name out there. Yeah, and it's also like the same kind of. It's a villain thing. As well, like in Black Panther, like I understood Killmonger's motives. I understood Thanos' motives as well.
But clarity is very much because when in the comic book universe you're allowed to like, it's very messy. There's a lot of stuff going on, and when you do an adaptation, you're allowed to just get rid of all that mess.
Yeah,
and back and just focus on the clear motives and decisions made by the characters, and it's a lot more digestible.
And I think that's what they did in Cowboy Bebop, where they just narrowed down the story a little bit and just condensed it and made it about this love triangle between Vicious and Spike and what's the other one's name?
What was her name? Oh, come on! Didn't you just watch
Julia?
Julia. Yes. Yeah,
and the anime, spoiler alert for the anime as well, but sort of. She's not actually in it that much. She's referenced and she's like mentioned. And same with Vicious. Vicious isn't even in it or mentioned that much either.
It helps. The show is really helping flush out the antagonists.
Yeah.
And it's also like it's I think I mentioned this before, but I'm just gonna bring it up now about how this show is clearly a product of the revitalization of the space outlaws trope. So I mentioned earlier this week that this show is definitely studios will bank a known property if we can find another example of it that's successful and is going on right now. And a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, we had 15. We had the emergence of Marvel's very successful The Guardians of the Galaxy. And
what else did we have in that same year? We had Star Wars Rebels.
So we have immediately after the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, we get all these kind of variations of the same product,
like Misfits trying to do good.
Yeah. So basically, Misfits, but like specifically that kind of space outlaw cowboy going out and collecting bounties. Yeah. So we get like the Guardians of the Galaxies kicked off the revitalization of that genre, and then we get the shows like Star Wars Rebels, The Mandalorian. I would even say a little bit of Star Wars, the Force Awakens, trying to like, because they got these space criminals kind of thing. I would also say Killjoys. I would also say The Legends of Tomorrow, and these are all just kind of like Dark Matter, I think it's what it's called. Yeah, Dark Matter is another one of these shows.
Well, Legends is almost a how am I going to word this?
It's like it's a subgenre of that.
Yeah, but because like this is all kind of, it's a lot like Firefly, which is like almost a grandfather of all these shows.
Yeah,
and Legends is almost like not a child's version, but it's almost like a kind of
spin-off, immature.
No, it's almost like a Wish version of Firefly.
Yeah, I see what you're going.
And
But yeah.
And Legends has lasted 7 seasons, and Firefly sadly only lasted 1 in a movie.
Yeah. But yeah, so like you can definitely see that. And then now we have Cowboy Bebop, which has clearly drawn a lot of stylistic stylistically has like influences from all those coming before it. It's just a really good. I would even say that Cowboy Bebop even is even pre Guardians of the Galaxy because of the anime.
Yeah,
because the anime came out just around the same time as Firefly.
No, it was like Firefly was like 2002.
Oh, so it's even before.
Yeah,
that's even better.
Yeah, so like you can argue that Cowboy Bebop probably influenced a lot of, like the anime probably influenced a lot of, and a lot of themes of Firefly, like the whole kind of Chinese and Western kind of
Eastern influences. I would also even argue the idea of the team cannot function if you are not open, if that makes sense. Like being emotionally available, being open with your like in lying and secrets will lead like
to an explosion, like an emotional explosion. But it's an emotional explosion, and we got that at the end of Cowboy Bebop.
It's more of I would say like you didn't like, so you're building a foundation of a bond of trust, but like it's all false because you built your like a castle on the sand, or you built a house on the sand, and when the tide comes in, everything's just going to collapse because you didn't. The only one kind of putting in the effort is Jet, and Jet is the one who's trying to because he's been double crossed before in the past by his old partner. He needs his new partners to be honest and truthful with him, and then from there they can build a real relationship, and there's a bond built on trust. And we get to see Spike just kind of time and time again kind of fail to do that. So we just be open, be honest and real with Jed, and Jed is just trying really hard to it's so interesting because it simplifies what the anime did, but it's a lot more psychologically believable in a sense that we got Jet, who he's a father without a family and kids, and so he's trying to get he's trying to build a relationship with these partners, but as a family kind of thing, as a dynamic. He just he knows what he wants in his life. He just can't get it from his real family and his real children. So he's adopted these kind of found family with Spike. Spike is kind of like Spike has lost his true love, and now for him to open up himself again and build like love again with his newfound family is just difficult for him. And he doesn't want to do that. But and then we got also Faye, who's lost her family because she was stuck in cryogenics. It's just they're all a bunch of family members who don't know that their family is right there in front of them.
What did you think of the casting?
I don't think there was anything I suppose I've heard that people are trying to be a little bit. They're trying to be too woke, or they're trying not to sound too racist when they talk about Mustafa Shakur's casting to play Jet Black. I would say that he delivers I would even say the best one-to-one adaptation from the anime, because he's doing all the weird come on, Spike. And if you look at interviews, he is nothing like that in real life.
No, he's kind of soft spoken.
Yeah, exactly. Very artsy.
Yeah.
very artistic guy, very cultural, like very
Yeah.
cultural. But he's just like, come on, Spike, we gotta get to my daughter's over there. She's got her parent. I gotta be there, Spike. And I was just like, you gotta be there for the team. You can't lie, Spike. He's like, but
I saw a picture of the anime Jet Black, and then I wasn't seeing Jet Black on the TV, and I was like, it's like he's actually speaking, like it's like I'm watching the anime, just the way he sounds.
Yeah, there's I would also say that Mustafa Shakur is also he's also one of the up and coming actors, I believe, because he's got a contract with Netflix and the Obama's production company to start historical civil rights activist, I think, and it's just like I can see him going like the distance,
and it's like he was on Luke Cage as well, season 2. He played.
Oh, was he Bushmaster?
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, like he's put on a lot of like muscle and weight for this role. Like he's almost unrecognizable.
I didn't even recognize him with that.
Yeah.
You know, he's who else is there? And I thought but when I say that he's definitely delivering the most one-to-one comparison to the closest to the character, I'm not saying that's a bad thing for all the other actors as well, because I definitely feel like Danielle Panada, she definitely gives a different
interpretation.
Yeah, because I always remember Faye Valentine being a little bit more sultry, but still quite the intense loudmouth.
Yeah.
But then what's called they've leaned more into the brash loudmouth kind of attitude-y kind of this.
Yeah.
And it's too bad, man. It's like actually quite if you had never seen the anime, it like she just comes off as quite like understanding, because like she herself is her own independent bounty hunter. Why should she trust them? She has a reason not to trust people, and she's just like, it's like, oh, it all makes sense where his brash forwardness comes from. And then we get it's interesting because Spike is the most reserved of the characters, even though he has a playfulness about him, which John does not deliver most of the time.
I thought he was quite. There was some like Spike from the anime that I saw in the live action, like when I think it's episode 7 when they're fishing, or when he's fishing.
Yes,
and he just gets fed up and just throws the fishing rod. Like I was like, I can see that as an anime. Like I can see that happening in the anime.
My issue is that he didn't do enough of those. Yeah. Those little because like you said, I saw that as well, and I was like, this is episode 7. That should have been sprinkled throughout. But like there's like a season episode 7. I was like, I thought that was cool. I like seeing him with this suit off.
Yeah.
Or like some kind of variation of his outfit. He's just like, for me, he didn't, because in the anime, I remember him being quite like, very like, there's a darkness inside of him. There's a different person. There's an evil kind of like ruthlessness inside of him. But we get to see the facade, the playful, bantering, folksy kind of like lays about kind of guy. He's like looking for his next meal, and he always puts his hands behind his back like this, and like lays up.
Or when he's just like leaning against a wall, and he's got like one foot up, and kind of really relaxed, cool dude.
We need more. We need more of those gestures, I would say.
In saying we need more of something, do you think there'll be a season 2?
Well, I heard that they had begun production on a season 2. So because we live in Auckland, so I for those of you who don't know, and I know that none of you don't know, so I should just tell you guys right now. I was an extra in this season of Cowboy Bebop 3 times.
We got a big Hollywood star here. It's like Hey, didn't know my co-host is Tom Cruise. They got a Tom Cruise over here.
I don't know. It's pretty. Being extra is like pretty hard work. If you like being treated like cattle all day, and just just waiting, and then like an entire 24 hours for your scene is oh gosh, you're better off being in production. There was a so there were rumors that like going around that like they'd already greenlit Cowboy Bebop season 2. And then some of the production people that I know from other companies had begun trying to like as one production finished, they were getting their new contracts for the next project. And you know what? I would like to see it like at least like come to an end, like conclude.
And it doesn't have to be a super long series. Like the anime itself was only 26 episodes. You could do 3 seasons of that. And I hope it does get picked up because there is a really big cliffhanger at the end of season 1.
Yes, I really like that cliffhanger as well.
Yeah, me too.
I was like if you're a big fan of the anime, it's like it just helps pick up your energy because it leaves you kind of like I wouldn't say depressed, but like the way
you felt. I think you felt a bit deflated.
Yes, you felt deflated. Yeah,
like
almost hopeless.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, this is a major spoiler. And I always see this before, but Radical Ed comes up at the end.
Yes.
And is she played by a New Zealand actress?
I don't know. I think she might be American. I've noticed that a lot of these productions.
No, because I saw in the interview, like Netflix has got produced this YouTube kind of show, and they have it's like a talk show, and they talk to the cast, and at the end they had this New Zealand. They had Radical Ed, and I think she was Kiwi, but sometimes I get the New Zealand Australian accent kind of mixed up, and I know it's weird because I live in New Zealand. Yeah. But sometimes I get it mixed up because.
All I know is because I've been on like a lot of these like shows and stuff like that, all these American productions when they come down here. Usually, if it's like a kid, and if this kid is like if it's like very like so like I'm talking like my experience with working on Sweet Tooth, where the kid was American and they brought him down here, even though there's like a wealth of very talented Kiwi kids down here. Sometimes it's just hard to capture that American twang sometimes. But like you know what, the girl who plays Radical Ed?
Yeah.
She was like, I was like, she looks like a Kiwi to us, right? She looked like a Kiwi to you, but she sounded like an American.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, and then after I saw when she appeared, I just was staring at her and was like, that looks like that, like the anime character brought to life, like creepily, if you know what I mean.
I think they did a really good job on her. Like even though we got like a glimpse of Radical Ed, I think they did a really good job on her, and obviously Jet Black, like very faithful. And I think it comes down to the actors as well, like the whole kind of, oh my god, a Spike Spiegel is very animated, it was high energy. Like after that kind of deflation, we got this high energy character. And if we do get a season 2, I can't wait to see that mix.
The dog showed up again. What's the dog's name again?
In.
Ein, was it? Is it Ein?
Ein.
Ein for like Einstein?
Yeah.
But it's like you can be pronounced Ian because they didn't put the other rest of the letters on there. I don't know. But like Radical Ed was like, oh my gosh, it's Spike Spiegel. Yeah. Like she went like a it
was like an announcer kind of like
it was like a Kiwi House kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like I saw her teeth and I was like, that's crazy. She looks like the character, and she's just like leaning like next to his like unconscious body, just like excited with the stupid dog is with her as well. I was like, oh my gosh, like it just injected more adventure into me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm for it, you know what I mean?
But also my hesitation of a season 2 is that show's going to be really expensive to produce.
I mean, they've already spent so much money on it already. Like, for those of you who don't know, John Cho hurt himself or injured himself performing a dare, like just a very difficult stunt to perform. And then we had lockdowns to contend with, and therefore the budget had to be raised higher.
But yeah, I'm hoping we get a season 2. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, though. I think it'll be like end of the year, next year, or the year after. That's especially because New Zealand is kind of a little bit of uncertainty at the moment.
We're very touch and go at the moment.
Yeah. Well, apparently it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah.
But obviously, COVID had other plans.
Either they continue to film it down here, or they film it somewhere out back in America where it's a lot more cheaper.
Yeah.
Because one of the best reasons to why they would want to film it down here was the fact that New Zealand had a green light go. Oh yeah, we had the tax exemption as well. I mean, tax cut, but we also while the whole world was in lockdown,
we were active.
Yeah, we were active. So take that as a grain of salt at the moment, because
now we're just kind of coming out of a lockdown shortly, like in the next week or so.
Yeah, how long have we been in lockdown? 3 months.
It's been over 100 days. 102, 103 days.
Well, change. We can't. Plans are not set in stone anymore.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so yeah, that's I really enjoyed for what it was. You just gotta I don't know, if you're really like so close to the project that you tatted it to your skin or something, and you're not gonna get the anime is still there. You can just watch the anime.
That famous line from Jay-Z: "If you don't like my old, buy my old. I bleached myself out."
But you can just but for what this is,
the anime's like you said, the anime's still there. And if you want to go back to the adaptation and then you can critique it.
Yeah. They're both pretty equally I would say the anime's still really good. Just even beyond far more greater quality. However, this show for what it is, it's pretty decent. It's pretty good. Yeah. And I wouldn't even see it again. Actually. Yeah. It's way better than other stuff that Netflix has produced. Was it Emily in Paris?
I haven't seen that.
Oh well, I've heard a lot of bad things.
And I don't. Let's just say it's not made for me.
Well, I'll watch almost anything except for Snuff Film.
Well, that's disappointing.
Oh yeah, so that's our review. That's our review of Cowboy Bebop.
So what do you rate it? Space Cowboy.
I'll give it 3 Space Cowboys, but a really strong 3 Space Cowboys, really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 as well.
Yeah, I would this is something I would recommend. That's how good it was.
It had its flaws. There's some of the dialogue was a bit dicey.
Yeah, I thought some of the dialogue is quite.
And I thought they were kind of copying the kind of Joss Whedon dialogue, the kind of snappiness to it. And it feels like these writers grew up with they're probably a little bit older than us maybe, and they grew up in that Joss Whedon era of Firefly, Buffy, and now they're writing their own show. And I think you can see a bit of that Joss Whedon influence on.
I never got that at all. I think I might have to watch it again for dialogue. I thought the dialogue was very, very boring. I think I mentioned this before to you earlier this week. I felt like it was they just needed the dialogue to carry the visuals, and where are you hiding the girl? We need to get the girl. The girl's over there. but I'm not gonna let you get to the girl. Okay, then we have to fight. Bang, 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 bang. Like literally, like it's just flowery versions of what I just said, but like
It was
very gray and
very
dull.
drab. Yeah.
Yeah, drab. Yeah. And I was just like, there was a certain point in the show where I was just like, I was watching the show, but I could not hear any of the dialogue. I was just like, I don't get it. I was like, but then again, I think I might give it another go.
Cool. So that's me. I gave it a 3. Has its flaws, like most things has flaws, but it's still an enjoyable watch, and it was nice to see.
It's like there's nothing glaringly bad about it. Like there's nothing that we're like offensively bad, and they didn't like fix it. Like people are going to complain about the mom episode where about Faye Valentine's mom. No, I thought that was like good to help explain Faye's character. Like every episode is dedicated to explaining who are these characters and where do they come from and how are we going to get them to band together.
I think it's the kind of the episode that kind of brought it all together and wrapped it up in a nice little bow. Because in that set up like the whole birthday episode, the Faye's birthday episode when they go bowling, which was really nice. And then like episode 9 was a little bit of not a filler, but it was like background for like a flashback episode. Then episode 10, we go back to present day.
Yeah,
we see their dynamic and how she wants to look for her house where she grew up in.
Yeah, and it helps, helps to lend itself to also the character and what the character wants, character's goals, and then we get to chase those goals throughout the whole next season.
Cool. This Cowboy Bebop 2021 wrapped up.
Yeah. Wow. There we.
I think this could be our quickest review.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. I don't have anything else to talk about the rest of the episode. I mean, because like I haven't we're coming out of lockdown and everything. I mean, like we're getting back into work mode and haven't been able to watch enough stuff. I'll just give you like a little quick rundown of what I've seen. Holiday. Have you seen Holiday? Holy Date. I think it's got like, is it Emma Roberts or something? And she basically.
Is it a Netflix movie?
Yep. Oh, I think it was like a mainstream movie. But anyway, there's a random Australian actor, and basically, she's looking for a date to take to her holiday parties and stuff like that. And basically, they're there to date each other. It's just as friends, but they end up falling in love with each other. Another show, I saw a documentary called Procession. Very touching documentary. It's on Netflix. It's about 4 to 5 gentlemen who were molested by priests, and they're making they're doing film therapy where they're going to write scripts about their experiences, and they're going to have to relive those experiences by filming actors portraying the events of what occurred.
Awesome. So they're not acting in it; they're just writing it.
Yeah, there are some of them act as different characters, but they never act as themselves.
Oh. That could be very traumatic if you act. You'd probably be jumping into a whole bunch of.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is like it's like a form of like exposure, and some of these brave men have already like they've I wouldn't say overcome it, but they've actually like dealt with it really like internally within themselves to if they ever felt like endangered or sensitive or triggered by going through the filming of their own like experience, then they're given like they can get the red light anytime and just stop. So that's Procession, really interesting, but very dark content. I also watched I saw Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Oh, what did you think?
I think I need to watch that again. I felt like I didn't enjoy it as much as I would like to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I felt it fell back on formula, and like the script was telling me the story and not the characters. Like Shang-Chi was just like, okay, we need to go to Macau. And I was like, you should be making that decision and not the movie just like editing you to the next place. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, just. But I'm actually pretty keen to watch it again. I think it has a lot of flaws. I think and those flaws come from the storytelling, which may or may not be the script writing or the directing. So that's my quick synopsis of Shang-Chi. Cowboy Bebop, like I mentioned before, and the Jonas Brothers roast.
Ooh.
I had quite the week.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
What about you?
I watched quite a bit. So I watched my regular Succession and Insecure and Curb. Hawkeye came out, the first 2 episodes, so I watched that.
What was
really
it?
Cool. Hawkeye.
All right. So
really enjoyed it. Loving Haley.
Oh yeah, she was a good choice.
And I love Vera, who plays him up, Vera Farmiga. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name as well.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's right. Vera Farmiga.
And she's brilliant. She's a brilliant actress.
From the Conjuring franchises.
Conjuring, Bates Motel, The Departed, The Many Saints in New York. She's really she's very diverse in the character she plays. I thought she was just strictly horror. Now that I think about it, she's done a lot of mafia stuff as well.
Oh yeah, she's so good, man.
She's good. So I highly recommend that. I watched Venom, Let There Be Carnage. It's fine if you missed it. It's not a bad movie. It is a quick movie, so I enjoyed it because it was just short.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing special to it, but I would say stay for the credits because there is something. There is something there. I watched Wheel of Time. I think I'm on episode 2 now.
Is that weekly? Is that coming out weekly?
So the first 3 episodes came out last week, and now we're going to get them weekly from now on. So I'm slowly going through that. And yeah, there's not a lot that I haven't had a lot of time either.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is going to be a quick episode. It's going to be a quick episode. That's not a bad thing.
It's a first.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was great catching up with you, Atish.
As always.
I hope everyone enjoyed our insights into Cowboy Bebop season 1. And we'll hope to see you guys again.
See you next week.
See you next week, yeah.
All right, see you, everyone.
Yeah.